I cannot stand her. I love people that I can relate to, like every other 40-year-old mom. I don't want to eat her jam.
Since the two of them left the monarchy, they've never been able to really get their footing because there's an identity issue. Like who she used to be pre-royal to who she wants to be post-royal, what his role was as a royal to what his role is now as a post-royal. And I think it's not a branding issue, and I think it's an identity and an authenticity issue.
Breaking right now, Meghan Markle is being roasted on both sides of the Atlantic this week because of her As Ever brand launch. Meghan McCain, former host of The View, daughter of the former Republican vice presidential candidate John McCain, used to be a fan of Duchess Disaster. Well, not anymore. Watch this.
But I also like to talk smack. So you guys are just going to have to deal with my new version of doing two-way. I cannot stand her. I love people that I can relate to, like every other 40-year-old mom. I don't want to eat her jam. I love Princess Kate. I don't know what she's doing. And this is like the ninth rebrand. I actually had to review her show and her podcast. And it was horrible. It was like so boring.
Angela Levin, Prince Harry's biographer, our royal mastermind, as you can see with me now. Angela, wow, Meghan Markle has well and truly lost Meghan McCain. This is bad, isn't it? Because these were people who were natural allies to her.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, well, when she first went to America, everybody believed what she said, and they all thought she was wonderful and she was charming. But when you see how she deals with people and her behavior and her ridiculousness and her lack of appreciation of our royal family, then it all tends to drop off. And the more it drops off, the more you see what sort of person she is. I mean, I think people who see her with Harry and what she's doing is absolutely dreadful. I think it's enough to make anybody ill, actually. I think 1 minute you're kissing them and hugging them and holding them and, gazing into their eyes. And the next minute, he's actually an assistant, and does what he's told. And the things that he hates, two things that he hates, she's completely ignored. And I feel if you love somebody, you don't for a minute think that you will get rid of the things that they really, really care about. You can have arguments about loads of different things, but not the two most important things, which she has completely dropped. One is don't show the children to people because he's very scared of what might happen to them and he doesn't want them to be shown. I think that's, it might be difficult for the children, but I think he has a prerogative of saying that. And she did that while he was on the Invictus Games in Canada. So he had really nothing he could do about it. So that's shocking. We saw her running across grass, bare feet, at their home. And you saw this little girl, sweet, very thin little girl, and nothing like some of the other pictures we've seen. And this was the most recent, I think. And the other thing is that she has actually made that she's joined she's got back into the idea of Instagram. Sorry.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Yes.
So she's using Instagram, which he absolutely hates, and he's worked very hard for several years to help people not use it. And they set up a parents network to help parents whose children have committed suicide or been harmed by something on social media. And that's gone too, because she seems to be on it all the time, non-stop. And so Harry's lost that. So the things he's really cared about, he's now a lost man. And I think if you As I said, if you love somebody, why would you want them like that? He's now of no use to her. She's got what she wants, but he does to make a little noise at the front at the beginning of when she was talking, so that we knew that he was there. So that meant, okay, he's there. I can now carry on and say what I want to say and blow him. Shocking.
Indeed, it really is shocking. And of course, we saw yesterday Meghan Markle reveal her mood board. And this mood board is very significant to me because it was something that she did previously when she was trying to get into the royal family with lots of royal items in the mood board. Now she's gone the total other way and she's providing all of these parts of the TIG and these bizarre sort of hippy dippy quotes which don't match up at all. Not to mention, by the way, the picture that looks like she's kissing Prince William, which we discussed yesterday. However, Angela, I did just want to remind you of what Megyn Kelly had to say about Meghan Markle and mood boards, because this was a big revelation that a lot of people have forgotten.
By the way, it's not for nothing, Dan, but I have it on very good authority now that she had a whole vision board of her life with the royal family and of the royal family themselves and Prince Harry when she was married to husband number one. Happened to have a good source on that. That's
No
the woman,
way.
the global icon.
So she planned this all along. That's what it comes down to. Wow, fascinating insights. So, it's not just Meghan McCain. Is it Angela Levin? She's been exposed by... I like to think Megyn Kelly and Meghan McCain are like, they're the good Megans in America, right? Not the Meghan Markle.
Yes, absolutely. That they're terrific. And I don't think they ever say anything that's actually nasty unless they've got good proof. They just say things about her that are true, and they don't mind what anybody else thinks because they've got real information about that. And I think that's fair. They do it in a nice way, nice voice, smiling, where she would be screaming and shouting and stamping, and she's just not a very nice person.
Very true, very true. And actually, on a similar note, I wanted to show you, Andrew, and I'll get you to react off the back, but this is really fascinating analysis from Bethany Frankel. Now, for people who don't know, Bethany Frankel was actually initially someone who found fame as the runner-up on The Apprentice, but the Martha Stewart version back in 2005. She's now best known as one of the original cast members from the Bravo reality series, The Real Housewives of New York. But she also had a spin-off series called Bethany Ever After. So she knows all about Angela brands and dealing with this type of world. Her lifestyle brand is called Skinny Girl. So she's had a lot of success. And she's not a Meghan Markle hater, right? She's not a Meghan Markle hater. She's not someone who has particular skin in the game. But that's why I think her take on why As Ever has been such a disastrous launch is really worth listening to. So, Angela, let's watch along and I'll get you to react off the back.
Meghan Markle can't win for losing. So you guys were irritated that that trailer for her show was perfect, like Martha Stewart, real simple perfect. And then you were irritated that she was super all natural, describing her new brand coming out where the name has changed from, I guess, American Orchard to As Ever. And I think the reason she can't win for losing is that there is a lack of identity and understanding as to exactly who she is to the audience. Like, first we're in Montecito and it's all perfect, which would have been fine, commit to the bit, because they do live in, I think, like $23 million house in Montecito, and it is pretty pristine, so commit to that bit. But I feel like because of a reaction from you guys, now it's more natural and just delivering really unfiltered, fresh out of bed content. And that is turning people off because they're like, wait, what happened to the perfect content? And then the name changed to Ever After. Someone on social media said it's because it was denied. The trademark was denied. So rather than just tell the true story, it's like another reason why the brand is called something else. And I think what's going on is since the two of them left the monarchy, they've never been able to really get their footing because there's an identity issue. Like who she used to be pre-royal to who she wants to be post-royal, what his role was as a royal to what his role is now as a post-royal. And I think it's not a branding issue, and I think it's an identity and an authenticity issue. But it's hard for people to be authentic when they're not really sure on their own who they are or what it is. And you can never let the market decide what you do or what you sell or what you produce. Like even in product, I never let what a partner or a retailer tells me I have to do dictate what I have to do. What I want to do is inside. And that's what I think the problem is. They just want everyone to like them so badly and to be accepted and to figure out who they are and what their identity is, that they're flailing, and it never lands with you guys. You guys are just too emotionally intelligent and too good at branding, marketing, and just understanding the human psyche. No one can get anything past you guys.
I found that really fascinating analysis, Angela Levin, from Bethany Frankel, because it's true that there's been a total 180 after the backlash from the Netflix trailer, which just shows there's nothing authentic in what she does.
Yeah, but also, I mean, Meghan most certainly, and Harry is lagging behind, but feels the same. They still can't get over the fact that they've left the royal family. They still want to, I mean, Meghan still wants to hang on to her title. Now, why does she want to do that when she can't stand it and she doesn't want to go to the UK and she doesn't want to have anything to do with the royals? I mean, it's an extraordinary way, and you're being pulled in different directions. And the other thing is, if she just left it, if they just moved on, but they can't move on after 5 years now. It is absolutely sad. And she doesn't have a grain of gratitude about the royal family. She doesn't actually acknowledge that she's been made one of the richest and most known women in the country, in the world. But she doesn't sort of think, well, that's wonderful, they've helped me do that, even now I don't like them. But she makes sneers and negative hints about them as much as she can. I can't understand why she wants to do that, why they both leave that. She's failed, you see. It's a huge failure because she hasn't got what she wanted. She wanted to help out sort of part-time and then go off and do what she wanted for the rest of it. But she couldn't do that. I mean, it's not just because they're royal, but a company doesn't want that either. They don't want you going off earning money out of a place, which she shouldn't. I mean, royals can't take advantage of being royal and spend the money on themselves. They're there to help people in the country and, do good things. But she doesn't want to do that. She doesn't want to be told what to do. So she's eating herself up at the same time as trying to launch a business. So it's very resentful. The whole thing is, and the whole thing about the TIG, her lifestyle blog. She had to give that up, and she's now feels that she can say how ghastly it is. Now she can tell us all, as if we're desperately waiting to hear about the TIG. I mean, I can't believe many people are, but there we are. I've always loved cooking and crafting and gardening, but I haven't been able to share it with you for some time in the past few years, but now I can. Well, this is a hint of being nasty about the royal family, but she's got a lot out of that.
I know, and by the way, as well, it's just not true either, Angela. What she's claiming is just not true. The royal family genuinely thought that she should keep acting. They wanted to encourage her to keep on with her career. If she had said, look, it's my bottom line, I'm going to keep doing the TIG, that would have been okay. The problem is that she gave everything up. Then she wasn't happy, you see, and then she regretted it. But it was her who chose to give it up. Angela, the other thing I just wanted to show you, because there's, you can look at it in two ways. From Bethany Frankel, we had the very good analysis, the business analysis, and I agree with it. But some people are just having a real laugh about the disastrous launch of this brand. And I wanted to show you this TikTok from a guy called J. Henry Lee, I think it is, Jane Henry T. Sorry, Jane Henry T. J. Henry T. Because it's just very funny. But the way that he depicts Meghan Markle is always the way, Angela, that you depict Meghan Markle, just in a very different context. So have a watch of this. But first, we've partnered with Gundry MD to share this information with you. Would you believe me if I told you inside your pantry right now is one of the healthiest foods on the planet? Yep, that's true. It's not some weird, trendy superfood. Don't worry about that. Spoiler alert, it's olive oil. Now, you're probably used to cooking with it, but there are countless ways to use olive oil to help yourself look and feel younger. For example, olive oil is a natural way to help you achieve a more youthful appearance. Besides helping you look younger on the outside, it's a fantastic tool for your insides as well. According to Dr. Stephen Gundry, a famous cardiothoracic surgeon, nutrition expert, and health advocate, you should get as much high-quality olive oil into your daily routine as possible, whether it's taking a shot of it daily or keeping a bottle of it in your bathroom medicine cabinet. But what kind of olive oil is best for your health? Well, any olive oil can give you some benefits. But if you're looking to get the best results, it matters a lot which one you pick. The olive oil industry is huge, right? You know that. You can tell just by the number of olive oil brands you see at the grocery store every day. But you can bet they're not all made with the consumers in mind. And many brands, I hate to tell you, have even cut corners, one way or another, to increase profits. So when Dr. Gundry came to this realization, he was appalled. But some olive oils are so powerful, it may only take a few tablespoons a week to see these incredible health benefits. So how can you tell between an olive oil that can be a health booster and which one isn't up to par? Well, in an effort to answer that question, Dr. Gundry has decided to take a stand and release his personal research and findings. This video has gone viral since its release, and it's important you see it so you can start benefiting immediately. You can watch the video right now by going to getolive1.com/outspoken or by clicking the link in the description box below. Let me just repeat that, getolive1.com/outspoken, or just click on the link in the description box below. People who have taken his advice have shared their results with him, saying the olive oil they bought after learning his simple rules have helped change their lives. So make sure you go to getolive1.com/outspoken or click on the link in the description box below this video. But now, back to the show.
Miss Markle, I just got an email from the guys upstairs about the show, and they just think that what with all of the social injustice and poverty and suffering in the world at the moment, that a program about a very privileged couple baking cakes and harvesting honey with all of their rich celebrity friends on their palatial grounds might not strike the right tone, and they're just a little bit concerned about the optics. That's fine, absolutely fine, I'll tell them. Oh God, sorry, can I just lean across you and grab my pen?
Very funny, right, Angela?
Isn't that brilliant? That's absolutely brilliant. Yes, she doesn't see that, and all the changing of the titles and everything. I mean, I can't imagine that in today's world that women would have all the time to spend most of the day watching Meghan and doing all these complicated things and silly things like putting leaves in ice cubes and decorating cakes, with minute little leaves. It's all got to be done. I don't think women are like that anymore. They're working, they're busy, they have families, or they are expert at what they're doing and cooking, and they don't need Meghan to tell them what to do, because I don't know that she actually cooks anything for that. I think she fiddles around, but I don't think she actually spends her time over an oven sweating to get things done.
No, indeed. Indeed. Now, Angela, there has even been backlash, though, in the broadsheet newspapers in the UK this week. And I wanted to share with you a couple of examples of that. So firstly, we had from Hilary Rose, Meghan's rebrand had suspense and self-congratulations. This is in the Times. I'll take you through some of it. Let us be clear, snorting with laughter is undignified. It is not why Meghan spent so many hours having her makeup applied to look as if it wasn't there. It is not why Harry got out of bed when the Californian light was just right to say it's recording and hand her a phone. His duty's complete. And it is not why Meg's expert team poured all their knowledge of Hollywood production values into a homespun little nugget of this week's truth. Yet my truth is that I laughed. I'm so ashamed. The premise is a video about her brand, now renamed As Ever. The scene is a garden in California, possibly hers, possibly rented, and our heroine is braving spinny defeat into victory, courageously relaunching the unlaunchable with only a smoky eye and a nude lip to help her. The video is a masterpiece, no question. There's suspense, sincerity, and self-congratulation. But fundamentally, Angela Levin, they laughed. She snorted with laughter, and that's the Times.
Yeah, that's amazing, isn't it? Because they have tried to like her, but they've actually given up. But her way of whispering to us to say what's going to be happening soon. I mean, you know, it's not an adventure story, and she should just get on with it. I think it's, but the nastiness, I think, continues, the nastiness against Catherine and all the behaviour of her, the way she behaves. And did you know that actually the nasty comments she made of Princess Catherine sort of turned up again? They were there in Tig because she didn't like her straight, jealous, but they've come back up, which is very, very strange. And she sort of said, grown women seem to retain this childhood fantasy. Let's look at the pomp and circumstances surrounding the royal wedding and endless conversations about Princess Kate. First of all, it's rude to call her Kate because she's called Catherine. And then what a terrible, awful thing to say, because she had a hugely expensive wedding at her request. She said afterwards she didn't ask for that, but she did. And she said, I, for one, was all about She-Ra, Princess of Power. We're definitely not talking about Cinderella here, which is another one of nastiness. So she can't claim about anything about people disliking her, particularly as Catherine has suffered from obviously a very difficult cancer, that she should actually take that out somehow and say those words. And so there you see the real basic nastiness of Meghan.
Indeed. And actually, there was just another little
Yeah,
part
go on.
in
Yes,
this
yeah.
article from
Sorry.
Hilary Rose, which
I was just keen to say that.
Well, no,
yes,
no.
sorry.
I think it was a great point, but there was just another little article part of it which I wanted to point out, because she's talking about the jewelry and said, no doubt in the future the video will be tagged link in bio, use the discount code HRH. But then she goes on to say, the necklace doesn't quite get as much airtime as Diana's watch, but if you think about it for a long time in a quiet room, you might understand why. Meg tells us that she always loved cooking and crafting, but alludes darkly to a time when she wasn't allowed to talk about it because she was tied to a radiator or something, and possibly also because when it came to being a royal, Queen Elizabeth II took the view that crafting wasn't quite up there with opening a hospice. Poor Meg, were you silent or silenced? And then the Daily Telegraph and Judith Woods was also damning for a different reason, Angela. So the headline on the front of the Daily Telegraph was actually, is Meghan going to have an original idea again? And she wrote, what I do know is that it's a painfully apposite summation of Meghan's ill-fated back of an envelope career since fleeing these shores. The charity, the podcast, the philanthropy, the film productions, the whole American Riviera Orchard thing. Doomed. As ever. But that was then. Now post-Megxit with a lifestyle brand to flog, that's all been airbrushed out. Why? Because she's just a girl standing in front of an Instagram asking the entire world to love her. Oh dear. As ever. She's been plying her trade solo of late because Harry's a spare, not an heir, and someone has to bring home the bacon, avocados, to Prince Archie. And that is proving to be a bit of an ask, because whisper it, she doesn't appear to have an original idea in her head.
She
Again,
pinches.
damning.
She pinches other people's ideas, but she never recognizes and says, oh, no, that's terrible. Would you like me to change it? Because I see you've really relied on it and you've had it for a long time. She takes nil notice which to me means that she's known exactly what she's doing and she's not interested because she wants it and she's going to get it. She has no CEO now. She couldn't find anyone and she decided that she would be that person, have that role and control everything because she's superb. But she's made a great big mess of everything because she's not up to it. I mean, lots of people can't deal with the technology and the organization of something like that. It's huge. But she doesn't care. She just goes along and doing it sort of as if she's swimming and just sees things and takes absolutely no notice. So it's not a surprise that she's made a great mess of it, but she doesn't have the courtesy to apologize or to then say, well, let me change this. I'm so sorry. You know, I don't want to ruin your firm and what you're doing. What does it matter? Because it's only been alive for 5 minutes, so she could easily change it. But she won't because that's what she wants. You see, I think this whole thing that she went on the screen shows actually the worst of her by far. And that's
Yes.
saying something.
Yes, indeed. Angela Levin, we don't know much about this yet. It's coming out Sunday in Australia, but 60 Minutes Australia is doing a big feature looking into Prince William. It seems to be very positive, but the most significant part of this is the fact that they have interviewed, and it's the first time I can remember him being interviewed at all, Jason Knauf, who has been the closest aide to William and Catherine for a very, very long time, but remember was also really significant guy in terms of the whole Meghan bullying story, because he was the one that was very much encouraging this investigation into Meghan and the bullying. All we have so far is the trailer from 60 Minutes. So let's have a look at that.
Stepping up to take on the firm's biggest job.
He's going to bring as much down-to-earth wisdom and connection.
The role of a lifetime.
Every generation of the royal family has to reinvent the role for the generation that they serve.
That begins with heartbreak.
He could become king sooner than what he ever anticipated.
On 60 Minutes.
Good evening.
Is there anything about William that you know about him that the world should know about him?
Just that what you see is what you get.
How is William preparing for the inevitable?
It's very difficult to have this stuff play out in the public eye.
And what does it mean
They're really going to do it their own way. They already are. That's not suddenly going to change with a crown on their heads.
for the rest of the family?
Do you think Harry's role could change once his brother is king?
Sunday on 9 and 9 Now.
So she asks
Jason-
Angela, do you think Harry's role could change? And we don't hear the answer from Jason Knauf. I want to. That's the answer I want to hear.
Jason was incredibly helpful to me, and because he used to look after Harry, and when Harry refused to get up until midday because he'd probably been up all night, he was always let me know and say he's in a really bad mood, so take it carefully. Or he would say, you've got him in a good mood today, so ask him anything you want. I mean, all that for journalists, as you can imagine, is extremely helpful. And he was very kind and actually explained how he had sometimes had to wait and change the engagements he had because he was just in a bad mood. But equally that he was good. And I think what he says about William, what you see is what you get, is the best compliment you can have for a royal, because that means he's not playing a game. He's not pretending to be something he isn't. I mean, the fact that he cares so much about the sky and everything about that, and also about people who are homeless. So you're actually saying that actually he does really care of these things. But I think that Jason left because he found that Meghan was actually too much. And of course, Meghan didn't want someone in charge more than she was. And it suited him to leave the work in the country because he'd been doing it for quite some time.
Well, what a point to end. Angela Levin, our royal mastermind, frozen. But don't worry, she will be back next week. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.